Members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This time, I again welcome Minister Lyndon Lewis in his capacity as Minister for ECYS. I also welcome the staff of ECYS supporting the Minister here this afternoon. So, Minister, welcome back, and you are here currently to respond to questions posed by members of Parliament that have been asked during the initial presentation on the amended budget 2024. So, Minister, I immediately invite you to take the floor on this topic regarding the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports. Minister, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you again, Madam Chair, the honorable members of Parliament, and to who all are listening, viewing these proceedings. Good afternoon. As we continue to discuss and deliberate on the proposed budget amendment that impact the future of our nation, I would like to address you as Acting Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport. Without further delay, I would like to get right into the answering of the questions posed by the honorable MPs, through you, Madam Chair, MP De Weaver, from 24 persons to 6 persons, the biggest effect, more so injustice, and the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport. Through you, Madam Chair, I took note of the statement from the honorable MP and wish to elucidate on the personnel cuts of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport. The decrease in the budgeted vacancies was based on 2 areas where budget cuts could be implemented. Personnel cost, 2.1 million guilders, and goods and services, 1.3 million guilders. The Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport could not reduce the goods and services budget. As much so, most of the cuts came from the personnel budget. These cuts were not limited or eliminating full vacancies. They also included adjustments based on the number of months personnel were reflected in the budget. For example, this occurred when personnel transferred out of the ministry or retired during the year. The 6 remaining budgeted vacancies are in the Division of Public Education teaching staff. Through you, Madam Chair, the questions and answers to MP Otley. Decrease in 13.1 million in education. Can I receive an explanation on this? The decrease in the capital investment for the Ministry of ECYS consists of 12.1 million originally allocated for the construction of a high school in the 2024 budget. However, the dossier for the project lacked sufficient substantiation as it did not include concrete costs, estimates, or architectural plans for the high school, and no land had been secured for the construction. As a result, the investment could not be approved in its current state. Additionally, 200,000 guilders for computer hardware and telecom equipment was removed from the 2024 CAPEX budget due to priority changes in capital investments approved by the CFT. 500,000 guilders for the equipment and setup of SMVTS was also excluded from the 2024 CAPEX budget due to these changes. Lastly, 300,000 guilders for ICT hardware and software was deducted for the same reason. In total, the deductions from the 2024 CAPEX budget amount to 13.1 million. I would like the names of all consultants hired by each minister and would like to know the contractual pricing for each consultant hired by each minister. The Minister of ECYS has hired no consultants. And how many cabinet staff are in each cabinet? There are 6 cabinet staff members in the cabinet of ECYS. Through you, Madam Chair, questions posed by MP Lacruz. I did not see anything in the budget for Carnival. I have not seen that reflected anywhere in the budget. The Department of Culture utilizes the budget allocated under the caption Promoting Culture Nationally and Intangible Cultural Heritage for the Carnival-related programs. My colleague, Minister of TIAT, has also addressed this question as they budget funds for Carnival. Through you, Madam Chair, the questions posed by MP Bruch and answers thereto. Cut with reference to Ministry of Education, Breakfast on Wheels program for school children. Does the cut affect what is being made available for the breakfast programs? No cuts were made to the budget account 43421320 voting, which covers the feeding programs within the public schools. Cuts with reference to personnel and expertise, considering that there are so much technical assistance that are going to be needed for pending legislation, are these cuts limited to only 2024, and while they be resorted to 2025 to acquire expertise outside of government where needed? The budget cuts to the Department of Education include a reduction in the department's personnel budget for a senior policy officer who left the department in 2024. This is a critical vacancy, and this cut will adversely affect the department's ability to deliver on pending legislation and agreements made in the country packages in 2025. Different departments complain about the shortages of personnel. Are the cuts also when it comes to personnel as a result of the recent increase of the situation where a lot of civil servants are leaving the government apparatus to the private sector? Is that one of the reasons why you see a drop in certain areas within the budget? For the past 3 consecutive years, the ministry has, for various reasons, been unable to fully utilize its personnel budget. And the forecast indicates that the same will hold through 2024. For 2024. This trend appears to be consistent across the entire government, making it difficult to argue that a reduction in personnel costs is unrealistic or will hinder the achievement of goals, especially when we have been unable to fill all vacancies and fully utilize our personnel budget for the last 3 years. Notably, there are at least 2 individuals working in the ministry who are affecting the budget of other ministries. Additionally, at least 5 individuals are impacting the ministry's budget while working in other ministries or cabinets. The situation affects the department's or division's ability to achieve its goals, as there are fewer staff members present than those being paid from the budget. Clearly, the organization faces challenges in processing personnel matters promptly, which affects its ability to fill vacancies and fully utilizes its personnel budget. Departments and divisions have been advised to hire temporary employees through employment agencies for the remainder of 2024, particularly in the areas where there is an urgent need of manpower. Explain why exactly that the amount was required for the amount to be adjusted. The overall amount proposed cut was based on compliance with the requirements of CFT. So this was basically an instruction. Through you, Madam Chair, the questions posed by MP York. The Martin Luther King School, the tender for the tiles in the classrooms is now out. The roof for the classrooms have been handed over. The only thing to speak is paint, windows, and tiles. What is the timeline moving forward? And what do we plan to use the school for between now and next school year? The retiling of the Martin Luther King Jr. School is currently in progress, and it is estimated to be completed in 5 weeks. The repainting will also be undertaken simultaneously with an estimated completion time frame of 3 weeks. If all targets are met, the repairs at MLK School should be completed by the end of November 2024. Cut in school funds, $13.1 million. What are the plans to mitigate the loss of the school materials? The 13.1 million guilders decrease was for capital investment projects in the capital investment budget only and not for goods and services. The reduction for goods and services in the operational budget is equivalent to 1.4 million guilders. There will be a negative impact from the budget cuts, but this was unavoidable given to the changes in government priorities. 10. Drastic cuts in sports budget for local and regional tournaments. Are there any strategies to mitigate this to athletes, the attention they deserve, to give them the attention they deserve? The drastic cuts impact our ability as a ministry to support local and regional tournaments in the way we would like. And for this reason, we are encouraging the private sector to join us in supporting our efforts. As government, we emphasize public-private partnerships in every sense of the word. Through you, Madam Chair, the questions posed by MP Duran. Traffic. Is it possible to explore the option to have a school bus hub system by the Jose Lake Ballpark and the Raul Illich Ballpark be set up to prevent parents from going all the way into the traffic to the St. Peter's area? This could be either funded by government or from the parents themselves for 25 guilders a month. The Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport is in the process of fully implementing several initiatives to enhance the busing service, including plans to introduce a fleet management system in the coming months. We are certainly open to exploring a school bus hub system in collaboration with our colleagues from the ministries of TIAT and Justice once these initiatives have been implemented. Through you, Madam Chair, the questions posed by MP Brugge. For each ministry, what project or services would be affected by each of these cuts? Sport projects affected. Sport awareness campaign, specifically the yearly award ceremony, tournament participation, the national team, or organizational development. The vision for educational innovation. The activity budgets, particularly for innovative projects, were cut. This translates to challenges with posed activities such as collaborative projects with external stakeholders to raise awareness for reading among students, where the division could only contribute in kind rather than financially due to recent budget cuts. Critical staff for key positions have also been impacted. Student Support Services Division. The cuts affect the division's ability to replace staff who cannot be hired through an agency given the specialized nature of the work, and hire key personnel needed to support additional tasks assigned to the division. Consequently, the division can no longer execute programs funded by the trust fund. Additionally, some of the division's preventative programs had to be halted, so staff could focus on direct services for students. The cuts also impacted direct services to clients, students, and parents, as there are insufficient staff members available to meet demand. School safety was compromised as necessary. Training and handling fires in schools and related programs had to be halted. Division study financing. The cuts affected the following areas: the ability to hire staff